And buyers, 2025 is looking amazing for you guys, in my opinion. Forget about interest rates. Just be glad that you're seeing more and more properties coming on the market.
We definitely need her every Friday with us.
Yeah, because she knows what she's doing, but she doesn't want to commit. No commitment.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 8th episode of the Real Talk Miami. Is that better? Awesome. So, December 23rd, almost a week until the year is over. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about market trends that we saw in 2024 and what we expect in 2025. A very interesting episode. Now, for those of you who are tuning in that are brand new to our channel, on the Real Talk Miami, our goal is to bring you guys the inside scoop on real estate trends, business insights, and financing here in Miami, Florida. We want to be your go-to source for all things real estate. On this podcast, not only will we be talking amongst ourselves like we're doing here today, but we'll also be interviewing industry leaders and professionals from all walks of life, real people, real stories, real talk. Jasmine, how are you?
Good
Pleasure to
evening,
have you guys on here again.
How you guys doing?
Great. Everything's doing great. How about you?
Awesome.
Good. I'm excited about today's topic
Yeah?
because I think there's a lot. This year has been. First of all, I'm shocked that the year has gone by like this.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
I feel like as you get older, the years go by quicker, meaning we're closer to 50 than we were.
Wow, you can't think about it that way. You're good depressed.
I got a little quick.
You gotta take it one day at a time.
But I think this year has definitely been a roller coaster. I think especially in the real estate industry. I mean, it is our careers and
Right.
and the line that we work with. But I think we've seen so many
changes.
ups and downs, changes, and
Yeah, there's no better definition than roller coaster.
I think a roller
That's
coaster.
what we have lived through this year.
I mean, in the beginning of the year, what was it? I mean, what were we faced with? It was too high of interest rates. I think it was.
I think interest rates-
They're still high, but
I mean, and then there were conversations about the lawsuit and how that would affect the industry.
and then that happened.
were expecting
August.
Preparing
that.
for it.
Yeah.
Then August 17 happened. Then you have to deal with the repercussions and how do consumers react to that. So everything is like, it's like a domino effect. But also, have you ever been to these, not to these places, but have you ever hit a ball on like a pebble and it just like, pew, like it bounces? That's what it feels like.
It's not a ripple effect.
Yeah.
I don't
A
know what it's
ripple,
called.
kind of. I
It's
feel
kind of
like
similar to a ripple, but that's when you drop it and it, like the water just.
I just feel like it's a ripple effect because it starts off small and then everything else just gradually.
Yeah, media had a huge effect on that. Media spread a lot of news that some were true, some were not that much true.
Yeah, it made our lives difficult.
And I think it all connected. I think really this year is where realtors proved whether or not they were meant for this industry, and whether or not they had the tough skin to survive. Survival of the fittest, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Without
absolutely.
question.
No, I mean, if you've made it this far, then congratulations. I saw a statistic the other day. I think it was around 80% of realtors didn't sell a single home this year or something
Wow.
like that. 80%. So it was definitely a tough market, but the good thing is 2025 is looking better. But in 2024, what was it that we saw, in your eyes, affected sales the most?
I think
Was it inventory? Was it the interest rates? Was it
I
prices?
think interest rates and pricing. I'd have to stick with pricing though. I feel like a lot of people, especially sellers, they kept having like PTSD to pandemic days.
Right.
To pandemic days when inventory was short, pricing was high, and I feel like they carried that idea, that notion into today's market, and they still think, many of them still think, that it's okay to overprice their home and they're gonna find the buyers that are willing to pay top dollar, but that's just not or at least right now,
It's a
what we're seeing.
That's not the scenario
It's a
right now.
possibility.
But
It's not the scenario right now.
Yeah.
We have inventory right now. We have top, I think pre-pandemic levels almost, right?
Well,
We're
we're not there
approaching.
yet, but yeah,
Not
we're
the-
approaching.
Yeah, we're getting there.
4,816 homes.
Something around there, 26% higher than last year.
I think it's a combination of all. Interest rate, it does a lot of harm.
Yes.
People's mind, they think, I'm gonna keep renting, maybe paying $2,500,
Yeah.
$30,000 a month, $3,000 a month. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they postpone. They postpone.
Yeah,
them.
they postpone the purchase of the house, and they keep paying and paying and paying, and losing money, losing equity in your pocket.
But I think what happened was that a lot of them wanted to postpone purchasing a home because oftentimes, especially in the Miami area, right, it happens to us with family members close by, but you have the uncle, you have the aunt, you have the grandma, the friend. No, wait to buy. Prices are going to drop next year. Keep in mind, these people have no professional credibility in the real estate market. They don't know what's going to happen. They're telling these buyers, wait. And what happened? Interest rates went up. So it kind of threw their numbers off.
And people kept losing money. Yeah, in real estate, I think it was Kevin O'Leary. He was saying, "Don't wait to buy real estate.
Yeah, you should never wait.
Buy real estate and wait." People,
Yeah.
I don't know one single person that regrets buying a house 3 to 4 or 5 years ago.
Nope.
Ask him this. Ask him how much equity they have right now.
Yeah, time in the market is more important than timing in the market. That's
Yeah.
that's the best
I love
way
that.
of putting it.
Yeah.
You have, in real estate is a business. Why do you think they do 30-year mortgages? The majority of the products as they sell is 30-year mortgages
Yeah.
because the longer you're in it, the more equity you're going to build, and eventually more leverage you'll have to be able to acquire more properties or build over your net worth. Now, I wanted to talk about the inventory levels. You said it was 26% higher, correct?
Higher than last year. Yep.
What were
But
the
still not pre-pandemic.
pre-pandemic levels? Were like what, 6,000 around there?
Probably around there approximately.
What do you guys think is going to happen once we approach those levels again? Is the market
I
going to
think
get competitive? Because right now we're in a buyer's market.
Yeah, right now I think this scenario is going to change. Actually, what most people are predicting for next year is chief of scenario most favorably for buyers.
Right.
Buyers are going to have more opportunities. Prices are starting. We are starting to see like a soft decline. It's easy. It's
Yeah.
coming down slow. But people are realizing what you were talking about. People are realizing they are not going to be able to sell the houses at the price they want to sell.
Nope.
They are going to have to sell their market price.
And keep in mind, prices are still going to continue to go up on
Yeah.
average because not only do families grow, in the Miami-Dade area, etc., but we also have a lot of migrants coming in, not just from out of the country,
Yeah.
but out of the state.
Out of the state,
right?
yeah.
We have these huge companies that have declared, they've stated publicly, we're going to move down to South Florida for whatever benefits there may be. They haven't moved yet because the Class A buildings that are in the
Like that
are work in
construction
progress.
phase, yeah.
Correct. They're in the construction phase. I got tongue twisted there. They're in the construction phase, so these companies haven't actually moved. But once they do, they're gonna bring their employees down with them. So there's gonna be a huge migration,
Right.
Again from these large companies, and then from people out of state. Because Miami's a hot place to be at. So I think prices are gonna continue moving up regardless.
Oh no, definitely. Because you were sharing with us an interesting statistic, or not statistic, but like inventory levels, like in Alaska and Hawaii, Miami-Dade County is
Yeah,
approaching,
Miami-Dade
right?
County, it's approaching Hawaii and Alaska, a housing shortage. Housing shortage level here in Miami-Dade
Wow.
are kind of the same that in Alaska, that there's no land to build. And there's no land to build also in Hawaii because it's a small island in the middle of the ocean.
Insane.
So when you take a look at the map and you see Miami-Dade the same in color that Alaska, Hawaii, you say, wow.
It's shocking
what's
to say
happening?
the least.
And you were mentioning those companies. Well, what do you think is going to happen when those companies bring 5,000 employees down here to South Florida?
All with those 100.
What's going to happen to rents? What's going to happen to
50,000,
houses?
They're
You're going to have 5,000 more people competing with you
Yep.
for
No,
a
and
rent.
those people, each of them could probably buy 5 properties by themselves.
But I mean employees. When they bring employees,
Yeah.
if you have a top employee, you're gonna bring it with you. You're gonna pay
Yeah.
him for moving to Florida, maybe with your company, and that's people to compete in the market. That's people. Those are the people that are gonna put an offer for a rent. They're gonna put an offer for a house that you were maybe taking a look at it. If you keep waiting, it's not that you have to buy right now, but if you keep waiting and those scenarios start to happen, those are more competitors for the market. And next year we have something interesting going on. We have new laws here in Florida that are going to make easier to get the permits to new houses. That's going to ease a little bit more the situation for buyers next year.
Right.
But we are not yet on the.
Yeah, we're not there yet. And
Yeah.
we're not there yet, and there are complications that happen every single day, especially in Miami. So for all we know, they're saying that's going to happen next year, and it'll happen the year that follows. But I mean, that's something that's in the pipeline.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and how do you call it? The median home price here in do you know what the median home price was in Alaska? I know Hawaii is like completely out of whack.
No, I don't know exactly the number, but it's way more than here.
Here's right now is 625, and I think that was up around 5% last year, and they're projecting that next year prices are going to continue to go up.
Yeah.
And interest rates, I don't see them going down anytime soon either. You know, you see the Federal Reserve, they keep cutting rates. I think like last week they cut it like 25 basis points.
Yeah.
And the mortgages were
rate
unaffected
didn't
almost.
move. Yeah, it didn't move.
Yeah, those are more long term. And when the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates, usually like credit cards are affected the most, car loans because they're shorter time periods. With mortgages, good luck. It's ruled more by supply and demand.
So what do you see happening in the upcoming year?
In the upcoming year, I see it as just as competitive as it was these last 2 years. I don't think anything is going to really change. Now, I will say I don't understand how they say that prices are going to go up when we're seeing the reverse, at least for certain types of properties, the ones that are clearly overpriced. You know, those are going down. But I definitely see that buyers are going to have more opportunities next year than they did this year. I'm actually already seeing that. Because before, when I would text or call any agents, within 48 hours, they would tell me, yeah, we already have 6 offers, 24 showings, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, holy crap.
I think what they mean, I think what they're trying to convey to the consumer is prices are going down for properties that are overpriced. But in general, on average, prices are still going to
they're going to
increase.
continue to go up.
It's just the market is either correcting itself or it's balancing itself out. And we're coming back to, I guess, a normality.
A new
But
normality.
Miami is still going to, price-wise, it's still going to shoot up.
Yeah, there's too many factors to think that the prices on the house in general, condos and single families are going to go down. Like, I don't know, they're not going to drop 100K just from today to tomorrow. It's not going to happen. We still have a lot of competition. We have kind of the same problem than Alaska and Hawaii. I heard from blogs and construction companies that next station Miami, it's rebuilding what's old because we already moved as far as west as we were able to. We're already on the Everglades.
Yeah.
From I-75 from Okeechobee all the way west, there's no more than Everglades. You cannot build there.
Yeah, it's natural.
And there's beach the other way. On the north, we have West Palm Beach. Also,
Yeah, our hands are tied.
Talking about the beaches, you guys saw what happened. Not happened, but the University of Miami did like a little report or something like that the buildings that are 10 years or younger were like sinking 3 inches.
Yeah, I love how you're smiling, but that's a really horrible situation.
people should be scared right there. But I think that I don't think that should be a major issue for those companies that own those buildings.
Lisa?
I think they're going to make a lot of investment to avoid that happen. I think that I'm guessing because I'm not an architect or something like that, but I'm guessing there's technology to avoid that.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put a lot of money to keep that in place.
I don't think
I did as smaller research as possible as I could on it, and I heard something about soil restabilization, but I'd imagine that they would have to like empty out the building completely and like.
I don't think any
close that
company,
area.
I don't think any construction company or any developer for that matter would want a sticky situation on their hands. So I agree with you.
Yeah,
Javier. I
because
think
of
they're
what
gonna
happened.
It
What
already
happened like
happened.
Surfside? That was what, like 4 years ago?
No, not even 4 years.
No, I think less.
Less.
2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, I don't think
tops.
anyone wants their name on the front page of a news article or a news story. So I think definitely they're going to do as best of a job. As a matter of fact, I heard that FIU is going to rebuild the bridge that collapsed.
Oh yeah.
For
And we
real?
were talking about, I was
Nice.
shocked to hear that. But I'm assuming that
know what?
now it's going to be the safest bridge ever built because they definitely do not want to come out on a...
That was a
You know, I have
tragedy.
a family member that I know that you mentioned that I got here like 3, 4 years ago. I didn't hear that story. I was driving to 8th Street one day, and they told me, you know, when I used to do Uber to work for Uber, I was driving right down here when the bridge collapsed.
Wow.
He passed away, and he got a call from a family member. Yeah, you okay? You know what happened? This happened at the FIU. And he drove by there.
It was not his day to pass away.
It was not his day.
I actually had a professor in college that said he had made a turn and like 5 minutes after, the bridge collapsed.
Yes, that was a big.
When it's your
tragedy,
day, it's your day. We're born with a book under our hand. The first chapter of the day we're born, the last chapter of the day we pass away.
man. Wow. What
But it's a
wisdom.
good thing. It's a good thing. We're not going to stay defeated. We're going to build the bridge.
Yeah, but you know, with the whole situation going on in Miami Beach, I mean, we're gonna switch topics soon, but that's going to lead probably to special assessments, and
Of
a lot
course.
of probably insurance premiums are probably going to go up too. So whoever
Yeah.
owns those, like, because there's a few of them,
And nobody's going to buy there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be nervous to buy too. I mean, we can't taint the image of those buildings, but I'd be a little nervous. I have a feeling the costs are going to go up. Nobody's going to want to buy there, and so as it stands right now, I mean, I think Brickell is taking over as far as the place to be in comparison to Miami Beach. Because the other day we were over there, and
Brickell, South Beach.
it was empty.
South Beach and all the way down to Aventura, North Miami Beach. Those are places with new buildings, luxury buildings too, like rising on the sky too. I think those places are gonna stand
I
between.
mean, they're just gonna continue to be revamped, and prices are gonna go up, and definitely a lot more. I don't know where they're gonna find the space, but I'm assuming companies or developers are gonna start buying out old properties and building
yeah.
vertically, because we don't have any more space for land, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So definitely we'll see that in the upcoming years. I don't think right away, but we're gonna continue seeing a progression of that the next, I don't know, 5-10 years.
What do you guys think about the next president that we're going to have? You know, because him being in real estate, do you guys see it as a good thing, or?
Well, I think this year, we got to bring out a really important statistic, which is median time to contract. I think we've seen a very big increase. Currently, I believe it's at 7.6, which is far higher than previous years. And that, you know, can be caused by different factors. But one of those factors is insecurity about what's coming next. And I think a lot of people have been insecure prior to the election. What's going to happen next economically? What's going to happen to my pockets?
Let me tell you, if the people who have told me I'm going to buy once Donald Trump is inaugurated, actually follow through with what they say, I will be a millionaire next year. I will be a millionaire next year. I promise. I promise.
So definitely the guy, he's a very successful person in this country and globally, and
Right.
being in real estate. I don't think there's a bad scenario for real estate under his presidency. I don't think so. Actually, when you look at the market, when you look at the stocks, when you look at the overall economy, once he won the presidency, what happened? Everything went up.
Sure.
Everything went up. So the guy, you cannot deny that. He can be whatever you want to
Yeah.
be, but you cannot deny he's a successful person. He's done great.
Yeah.
And he's done his job before. He's been president before, and he did a good job for what I heard. So, I think that could be a really possible scenario, because statewide and I think countrywide we're gonna have laws protecting people like in condos. We're already having it.
Yeah.
People protecting people in condos, protecting people from HOA. Like favoring construction companies, all that's going to help people. In the end, the consumer is going to be beneficial.
I think that president's plan is definitely to fix the economic situation in the country right now. And I think regardless of what political party you align yourself with,
Of course.
you are swayed by your pocket. So as soon as that starts to alleviate a little bit, I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more activity on the real estate side. I think a lot of people are they're afraid. Even if the president has already been elected, we do got to give it some time, perhaps 100 days into the presidency, and even much more, because all of these economic factors, I mean, they're not going to happen overnight just because he's been elected president, right?
Yeah, of course.
He has to work with his teammates and cabinet members as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see.
Good points. And he's also he's pro crypto, pro Bitcoin, and right now we're seeing a lot more people. They're starting to use those cryptocurrencies as a means to transact real estate, and some are projecting that next year that's also going to be something that is going to be more frequent. You know, I also saw something about these virtual homes that are being sold with the physical world. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, if I buy a property right now, the developers are including a property inside of the metaverse. Do you think that's something that incentivizes people, realistically speaking,
So
or
you're
is this
gonna
like a
have-
joke?
you're
I think
gonna have-
that's beyond a lot of people's heads. I think.
But I mean, if you think about it, with everything that's going on, I mean, there might be.
I don't think the average consumer is.
You gotta
Cares
take a
about
look at the age of the average house buyer. It's gonna be around 30s on 40s. It's going up. For example, for me, that's if I went to buy a house this year, that's not gonna be too much. Because again, I love the technology. I love crypto. I love all that. I try to stay up to date with that, but that's not gonna redefine my position for going in some way of what to buy or what not to buy.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I think it's a little bit early for this generation.
Yeah, there's some things that are just too early for adoption, and I think that's one of those concepts.
Also, what happens with Bitcoin? The two sides of the coin, for calling it some way, it's private. You do a transaction, it's
Yeah.
private between you and your part, and that's okay. That's great, but that's also that can also be used to trick people into fraudulent transactions. So people are kind of scared
Wary of it.
when you go to a lender, when you go to a real estate office, you deal with people, you
Yeah.
deal with banks, you deal with mortgage brokers, you deal with all kinds of people that you build a trust relationship. So I think Bitcoin, it could be a very good thing, but in the same, it could be not so much favorable for some people that are not quite up to date with technology or how to handle it properly.
Yeah, it's uncharted territory, definitely, and something. But it's here, and I think it's gonna stay. I mean, have you guys ever heard the story of that guy that bought like a box of pizza?
Oh, yeah.
For like I don't know how many bitcoins.
Was it like 18 bitcoins or something like that, right?
No, thousands of bitcoins.
For real?
No, it was literally a $5 billion box of pizza that he bought. The worst thing anybody could ever do. Man, oh man.
That's just called having money, and that's a good problem.
No. I'm saying he owned a Bitcoin when it was like a penny,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
18,000. Like I don't know, whatever. And he bought the box of pizza, the box of
Pizza.
pizza, the box of pizza with 18,000 Bitcoins.
Wow.
And those 18,000 Bitcoins today are worth like $5 billion. I think it was 18,000. I don't really know.
My goodness gracious.
Just a penny.
What happens? Oh, that wasn't in Miami. I was about to say what happens in Miami.
I
You see,
mean,
now you have to see that like in long term, like when you buy a house. If he kept that money in his pocket, he wouldn't spend it.
yeah.
He would be a billionaire right now.
But who knew this would have happened?
Yeah.
It's like $100,000 going.
It's the same with people who bought houses
Yeah.
10 years ago. They have a lot of money in their pockets right now.
I mean, the biggest mistake that we made was not being born earlier. Literally. What else?
I just think the future is a lot brighter than what's happened this year in the real estate market. I think a lot of factors are working towards the consumer. I mean, I guess it depends on what side of the table you're on, sellers or buyers, but I think everything overall, for sellers on the bright side, a lot of migration, a lot of demand coming in the next few months, next few years. On the buyer side, inventory might also go up. It all just depends on seller motivation. But inventory, as we're seeing, is going up.
It's going up.
So I say might because, again, we're on track to possibly soon surpass the pre-pandemic levels. So I think there's positive sides for both sides, for both types of consumers.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have 7.6 months of inventory left, meaning if all sales stop today, or no new listings came on the market anymore, and we had to sell the ones that we currently have, it would only take 7.6 months to sell all of them.
To sell it.
And you
And
say
that's-
only, but it's actually higher than it's been.
Yeah, no,
Previous
it's higher. It's way higher than last year. I think it's almost double at this
And I
point.
mentioned economic uncertainty, but I mean, there's other things that impact market saturation. How many homes are coming onto the market? That's something that definitely impacts seasonal fluctuations, and then overpricing, which I think I've mentioned this 100 times possibly in this episode. But overpricing, I think, has been a very big theme this year. I think a lot of sellers are fishing the market. They're dipping their toes, seeing what they could sell their house for. I'm sure we all know someone like that that's asked us, hey, how much could my home sell for? This is the number that I want, and there's no talking them out of it. So I think there's a lot of sellers that are fishing the market, and that's not bad, but I think at some point or another, those homes are either going to expire from the MLS or they're going to have to be relisted at a more realistic price. Thoughts?
Of course.
No. Yeah, there's no way I could disagree with that. I mean, market's changing. With a changing market, you either adapt or you die. It's as simple as that, and that applies for every single market, not only real estate. And buyers. 2025 is looking amazing for you guys, in my opinion. Forget about interest rates. Just be glad that you're seeing more and more properties coming on the market, because let's say that out of 10 properties, 5 decide to cut the price $75,000. You're going to have more bang for your buck. Your dollars are going to go further, and you're probably going to find your dream home.
And real estate is all negotiable.
Yeah, of course.
Right? As long as you have the right person by your side, the right realtor, there's nothing that you can do, right? Negotiation, right? I'm sure that we've all seen transactions, or we've all dealt with transactions where you've been able to negotiate one way or another, whether it's a credit here, a credit there, right? That's possible. And again, with these overpriced homes and more inventory on the market, buyers definitely have a little bit more time to think things through. They don't have to rush into putting an offer just because of the competition, right? Now they have more time to think things through, take their time, and ask for negotiations from the realtor if possible.
Oh, let's say you buy right now with the interest rate at the current level right now, and by December next year we have a 3.5 interest rate.
Hopefully.
You can hopefully, yeah, but you can always refinance your
I was just gonna
mortgage,
say that.
and you don't lose 12 months of rent of your money. That it doesn't make sense.
You're always saying, marry the house, date the rate, correct?
Marry the house, date the rate, yeah.
Date the rate. You could always refinance the interest rate.
Imagine that interest rates doubled next year and it goes to 12%. Now you look at yourself and you're like, damn. And that happened to a lot of people before the pandemic. In 2016, when home prices were $200,000, they were like, well, how am I going to pay $200,000 for this house? Are you kidding me? That house.
I think a lot of people assume, right? And it's not just real estate. Like, as humans, I think the biggest mistake that you can do to yourself is make an assumption. Sometimes when we assume, we have to bite our tongue, right? Because we assume incorrectly. So instead of assuming, my suggestion would just be do your research and speak to the mortgage originator, to the loan officer, speak to the realtor, see what it is that you can actually afford. Don't assume that things are going to change in a couple of months, because it all depends on your circumstances. If you can afford a home, then go for it. If the circumstances are right for you, financially speaking,
Right.
personally
Expecting a
speaking,
baby, something.
right,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, then just make the move and don't assume that you can't afford it or that things are going to change for the worse or for the better. I think we should never assume, and we should not take the advice of a family member or of a friend that doesn't have any knowledge of the real estate industry, right? You don't ask legal advice to a friend of yours, you go to an attorney,
Yeah.
right? So similar situation here.
That's the same conversation you just had this week with a good friend of mine. He is from the same town where I was born to, and he's here in Florida, like in Miami, like 3.5, 4 years ago. He called me because he's thinking to buy a house, and those are the exact same words I'll talk to him. If you think you're able, if your personal situation is good to buy, why you keep waiting? Why you keep waiting? If you have a good income, you have a steady income, you have a good job, it's paying good, it's doing good for you, and you are able to, why you keep waiting?
I agree.
You just throwing money in the wind. You're throwing money on the other people's pocket.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's happening.
I think sometimes we get into our heads, right?
Yeah.
The consumer gets into their head and they start talking themselves out of it.
Yeah.
But really, there's nothing to talk yourself out of if you haven't done your research.
I mean,
or gotten the
buying
right
a house,
information.
it could be scary because you're getting
It is a
into,
scary
Yeah, it
process.
is. For most people, maybe it's a big step because you're getting into a 30-year contract.
It's adulting.
Yeah. It's you can be like on different waters on what to do, what not to do, keep renting. But if you keep waiting, like you said, house double the prices in 2 years after pandemic. So
Yeah.
maybe interest rate come down, but what is predicted for next year is a 4% appreciation on single family home.
Wow.
That's what predicted. So take the numbers to the current price. What's going to be the price when the year's over?
Yeah.
What you think you could be saving, waiting to the interest rate come down? you're losing it in price,
Yeah.
or even more maybe in price.
How many people last year wanted to wait, till this year to buy?
Yeah.
And like I was mentioning earlier, interest rates shot up, and now what they can afford for the same amount is a much smaller home. So
Yeah.
again, waiting is only going to hurt you. Now is the time to buy, and I think it just, again, it depends on the person's circumstances, but I think everything is lining up overall for a good real estate year 2025. I think everything seems pretty positive. Obviously, the real estate market always surprises us with a little bit volatility here and there, but I think all in all, it's looking much brighter than 2024.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I would say, yeah, for buyers. For buyers, it's looking a lot more brighter. Now, another thing that we weren't talking about, and I started seeing this around like August, banks started tightening up a lot. They were less likely to lend to you if they saw the property as a little bit more risky. And that usually happens right around the time where, we're entering into a uncertain, like uncharted territory. And so, ironically enough, it happened right before the elections. And of course, with the Federal Reserve, cutting interest rates and all that. I actually, for one of my buyers that I was representing, she ended up buying a house already like last month. There was this house, it was like in Little Havana, that she liked, and we ended up putting an offer. The offer got accepted, and when the appraiser came there, I'm telling you, like, there was like at least 6 different things. They wanted her to knock down an entire structure in the back, patch up a little hole in a wall. There were so many things, and I was just shocked. I was like, is this normal? They wanted her to paint the house too. And then they wanted her to do a structural inspection. They wanted her to do a pest inspection. They wanted her to do a...
Wow.
Which other one? Structural pest. There was like 3 inspections that the bank wanted her to do. And I recommended her, please don't do it. Please don't do it. And she didn't. She listened to me. And then I ended up taking her to a different lender, a local one. And, because they don't do those inspections from what I've heard. And yeah, we ended up closing on another property. But what are your guys' opinions on that?
On?
The bank's tightening up.
I think definitely the fact that they're conservative. I think banks and lenders in general have become more conservative since 2008 for the right reasons.
Oh, yeah,
I think it just depends, again, what side of the table are you on, right? If you're a buyer, unlike your case, which sounds like a huge complication, but I think it could definitely work in your favor. You can use the appraiser to definitely help you with negotiation. Again, I just think it depends on the case. In this situation, it seems like it got a little complicated, sticky, whatever you want to call it. But had it not required so much fixing, you guys could definitely have taken it to the table and negotiated for a better price. Again, it just depends on the situation, but I think it could work to buyers' favor when it comes to negotiation on a property. Then again, it could also hurt the transaction all in all. So I think it just depends. I really do think it depends. I think that would be my answer for that.
No, yeah, it always. I mean, you never really want an appraiser to say, "Hey, I'm not going to give you a loan unless you fix this, this, and that," because it hurts the buyer no matter what. So, I mean, yeah, to take it away, one piece of advice you'd give to both buyers and sellers for next year.
Oof. That's a loaded question.
Get ready. Try to put everything in place in the personal matters and economic matters. Be careful with your taxes right now. If you're planning to buy, if buying it's an option to you in 2025, be careful what you do with your taxes. You don't have to lie. It's don't lie in your taxes. So we never recommend that. But some people, they try to cut that income. We had the experience with a client where we were doing qualification. He's 1099. He's not W2, and he had a good income, but he had a lot of expenses on his company. He was not qualified. So be careful with your taxes if you're planning to buy in 2025.
I think that my recommendation would be to keep in mind, just in general, keep in mind that replacement cost of a home is going up, right? Insurances, prices is going up, property taxes are going up. So you need to keep that in mind. I think this is more of my advice to sellers. Keep in mind that all of these things are going up. So it's much better for your sake to definitely listen to the advice of a realtor and price yourself reasonably, right? According to the market. The market is always going to have the last say.
It's going to
I
rule.
think that would be my recommendation, right? Keep all of these factors in mind because they're definitely going to have a big impact on how fast you sell your home, how much money you're going to get for your home. I think that would be it. And then as far as buyers goes, definitely do your research and don't assume. I think there's a few things that are in your favor. So really, that would be my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with both of you guys. Find the right agent, one that's going to represent you, hold your hand throughout the entire process. That'll take you to the right lenders, and we'll get the job done.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No?
Well, we can say we're wrapping this 2024 roller coaster year, like we started saying. It was at a very moved year. We had a lot of changes on the industry. We had August 17, now settlement. We had a lot of things coming into the industry, factors shaping how we practice.
We survived.
Yeah, we survived, and we are getting ready for 2025.
Absolutely.
We're getting ready. We're starting. We're preparing. We're doing everything in our reach to provide a good service. And I think buyers need to be ready because I think this is gonna be a buyer's year.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's an understatement. Any questions that you have regarding buying, selling, renting, that's what we're here for, right? We'd love to help you out in this time of curiosity. Never assume you're not in this alone. We are your friendly neighborhood realtors.
Absolutely. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share this channel, share everything. Follow us on Instagram at the Real Talk Miami, Spotify at the Real Talk Miami, Apple Podcasts. We're on all platforms. And stay tuned for the next episode next year.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.